Hello, fellow cryptids. I'm Lith,
And I'm Seren.
and we are back with Bayek, and I'm about to do a sync point. So
Hooray!
exciting stuff. What have you been up to, archaeology wise, since we last did this?
Yeah, still working on the dissertation. Did a lot of grading stuff for the classes I TA for, and then the one that I'm organizing. So that happened.
That's
Uh,
fine.
mm-hmm. And I was thinking about some other, archaeological themes we can talk about in games and other missions or side quests or something we might need to keep an eye out for. Because I remember there were some that had some really cool like themes and stuff we could talk about. What about you? What's new?
Um, I mean, in terms of archaeology, I'm basically just doing this. So, but I mean, I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes on other games and such to do some planning for this channel. So,
Very cool.
yeah. So you'll hopefully find out about that in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
So exciting stuff.
Must be careful now.
Can't catch me if you can't see me.
Fair point.
Yeah, I think in the future we won't be doing as much of these like little side quests, but
Yeah. Here's some still like some cool locations I'm sure we'll want to talk about.
yeah. But for now, since this is just the second episode, I didn't want to get too far ahead in the game, so
Mm-hmm. I've also been playing a lot of Witcher in my spare time, but hopefully we'll get to have a Saren plays Witcher in the future, but not just yet.
yeah. I thought about buying Witcher, but then I don't. I'd much rather Seren play it for the channel because she definitely knows a lot more about it and about the like sort of setting it's placed in. You don't see me. Clearly, you don't see me.
Indeed.
Hurry!
Fatality.
But yeah.
Hang on! Quickly, go! That is terrible. Dear Moon, he has died from his wounds. His family will want to bury him properly.
I feel like our dialogue is somewhat lessened of late in this particular episode, but that's probably because we're both really tired after the week we've had.
Yeah, I'm a little tired. Also, I'm trying to concentrate on killing this person.
That's fair.
But yeah. So sometimes when I'm trying to concentrate on gameplay, might be a little single-sided or one-sided.
It happens.
Can I
One of
hit
the things
you
I'd be
from?
interested to know with these games is like how much climate history they looked into, which clearly they had to have done some of that, but I'm just don't know how much they actually did. It's like
Mm-hmm.
to, have all the like plants and, water levels and everything, but given that it is Ubisoft, I'm sure they did their research to create, again, a very believable, kind of semi-legendary historical scenario to have us interacting with here.
Yeah. Environmental history is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go that way.
No, no.
Turning around. I think I have to go back through the fort, but that's okay. I'm on Fang. They can't catch me.
Oh,
I
yes, our
say
horse
confidently.
Indeed. Our horse that strikes fear into the heart of people.
Excuse me. But yeah, archaeology wise, I'm not in school and I'm not doing an archaeological job right now.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you did finish your master's, so it's certainly worth it to
Brings
take a
that
bit of a
news.
break.
Where is his son?
She lies here with her son and daughter.
The entire family.
Sadly, I see Terramoon also paid the price for his recklessness. I warned him that his rebelliousness would bring torment and suffering.
But what happened?
They saw the soldiers coming and hid in the cellar. But the soldiers burnt the house to the ground to teach everyone a lesson.
I am sorry.
Put the body down there. They will journey to the Duat together. So many deaths in the Wahat. We cannot give them a proper burial.
Oh, yes, interacting with the dead.
That
It's
is
not
kind
your
of our job.
obelisks that got you killed.
It is.
It is Ptolemy's sick regime. He is a bad pharaoh.
It's funny though, because I often get the question, like, well, how many like skeletons have you
Find more
interacted
than we
with?
had
And
here.
for me, the answer in terms of human skeletons, in the field at least, is exactly zero.
Yeah.
As at least where I work in Europe, the soil is so acidic that you don't often have human remains surviving. But where I've worked in Greece, we did have some like animal remains, mostly like rats and small things like that. But
That's useful. I'm gonna go ahead and get that. Yeah. I haven't interacted with human skeletons either, I don't think, actually. Um, as I remember it anyway.
I mean, I've been in places where there would have been skeletons like once upon a time, but
Yeah,
not
but there
anymore.
weren't any there. Um,
I mean,
so
like I've
the
been to like the catacombs in Paris, which is the most amount of skeletons I've ever been around in my life, but that's quite an experience for sure.
I mean, I've been to the Colosseum and
Yeah.
like
Were there any?
it's one of those things where like I walked up to it and was like, there's so many dead people here, like, or at least like so many people died here. It's just like kind of
Mhm.
a feeling that you get
Yeah, no,
as you
it's
walk
very, very
into a
true.
place where you feel like everything that kind of happened, like because you know what happened there.
Changes your perception of like how to interact with that place, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's true with like the Paris catacombs, which is technically a municipal ossuary to give it its real title. But there's several million dead down there. They've been disarticulated. That is, their skeletons are not like anatomically all in one piece anymore. But it was a weird thing to be surrounded by that many, anonymous, several million dead Parisians down there. But I was certainly a lot more respectful, as were my friends and a number of the other tourists that we saw who were also on this,
This area is off
not
limits.
tours isn't the right words, but visiting that site.
Hey,
I'm busy. Get out of my way. Oh. This might
Were
have been
there
a
any, like, at the Colosseum, though, were there any plaques or memorials kind of, like, remembering all the, the death that this place has seen?
Um, Fang is not going to survive that. Yeah.
Oh dear, let's not kill our horse, first off.
Um, you know, I, sorry, I think so, from what I'm remembering. I think there was some sort of plaque or something, but it wasn't very prominent. And I think a lot of people know that a lot of people died there. Like, that's, somewhat common knowledge.
Yeah.
But I think it's more because I mean, talking about entertainment that made certain things popular, like Gladiator, whatever the historical context, definitely made that kind of like thing very popular. And I feel like a lot of people, like, the Colosseum is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a quite iconic
And
site on a number of levels.
yeah, so I feel like a lot of people realize that, but I feel like when I was walking
Used
around,
to come here as kids.
like, just looking around and being like, a lot of people died here. And I don't know that a lot of the other tourists were, like, viewing it the same kind of way. Like, more them seeing it as a, like, place of entertainment.
Venue? Yeah.
Because it looks like a sports arena.
I mean, it's the prototype for, like, all the big football stadiums of that kind of type that we have nowadays. Not saying we should bring back gladiatorial combat in quite the same way, but I wouldn't be opposed to chariot racing if we could do it safely.
Yeah, I think safely is the potential hard part. Am I hitting you? I am.
Scrawny. In this scrawny bush.
This scrawny bush is protecting me from a lot, apparently.
Apparently, indeed.
No. Is it just you?
Oh, excuse me. As I said, it's been a long week.
It has been a long week. It's been a weird week for me, especially work-wise, because stuff broke down.
Yeah.
So there's another guy and someone doing something over there. I'm not sure what. I still don't know what that glitch is.
I think it may just be like, we have so many electronics all connected to each other that maybe it just freaks out on occasion.
Maybe, yeah.
The farmers depend on this spring.
Fatality.
Into a bush.
Indeed. This is where the trend of us calling these murder bushes kind of started. So we would usually kill someone and then drag them off into a bush.
Hello, sir.
Indeed. It's funny though, because like we talked about in one of the last episodes when we played this, I don't remember if it was in the one that actually got published or not, but we can talk about the difference between formal and informal disposal in archaeological context with these mortar bushes if we wanted to. What do you think, Lith? Should we start that conversation in a minute?
Sure, go for it while I finish taking out these fools and putting them into murder bushes.
Exactly. So, when archaeologists find burials in the field, we usually categorize them into one of two sort of broad groups. A formal disposal is like a burial that was, deliberately dug into the ground and someone was placed there on purpose. After they died, obviously, we hope, or at least we hope it was after they died. Informal, though, is when you don't have like a recognizable grave structure or a burial of really of any kind. It would kind of be just like leaving someone out, lying out in the open. Some cultures do that, and this is not, passing judgment on cultures that do bury their dead in informal versus formal ways, just to say that there's a wide range of mortuary practices that have happened in the past and in the present. Though what we find so funny about the whole murder bush context is that technically, since we keep putting people in these, we're creating a sort of formal disposal context because we're deliberately putting people in there. But since it's in a bush, it's also very informal at the same time. And we just thought it was funny. They were like, here we are blending archaeological context to confuse people. It's great fun.
It is great fun. we we definitely had quite a fair few murder bushes.
Especially out of the pharaohs, when we put most of an entire garrison in front of them. That's okay.
There's 3 of you down there, all next to each other, all looking the same direction. Where are you going? You're moving. Where are you moving to? Is the question.
Indeed.
He's going over there. Boots just coming out of. Hello, sir. Oh, you're gonna find the body because I couldn't pick him up. For some reason, I couldn't pick him up. That was weird.
Not that it is like suspicious. It's like, what's that? Hiya. It does crack me up though in both this and Odyssey that it's like, how are you hidden in these bushes in Egypt or in Greece when we're wearing some fairly shiny attire? But oh well, you do you, game. I love it.
Are you also coming? You're also coming up the stairs. This isn't even a murder bush at this point. It's just I can't carry either of you. That's so weird. You know,
they're not dead yet. They're not dead yet.
If I saw people rolling around on the floor like that, I would be more worried about walking up to the potential site of murder, but whatever, it's fine.
Oh well. Some NPCs in these games can be a little dumb, But hey, makes it more enjoyable for us.
Are they responding? No. They don't care.
Oh dear. I was gonna say, I bet you can nail that guy from here.
It's not gonna kill him though, even with a headshot.
Even though it'll also be set on fire.
Well, but it'll raise an alarm first. But that guy's back is turned.
Decisions.
Oh, no, they're right next to each other.
Oh dear.
Could I, do I have, like, rocks or anything to throw at them? No. Okay.
No.
So what you're telling me is this isn't a game where I can throw rocks at people.
It's also funny, though, that even though we may be doing this in the context of, assassinating people, that moving around these, like, landscapes and sites that they've constructed for us here does, how would you put it, potentially offer some insights into how these places could have been used in the past, perhaps. Maybe not necessarily everywhere was populated by bandits, but people interacting with space and place is an interesting theme in a lot of archaeological research.
It is.
In fact, there's been some argument that neurologically, i.e., like how our brains work and everything, is basically exactly the same for people in this period as it is today. Our perception of things may be different, certainly, but neurologically, we're basically wired identically to people, here and even significantly further back in the human record of the past.
Why are they just standing next to each other? I mean, I get they want to have a conversation,
Bandits are people too, Lith, come on.
but maybe I want to murder them.
I mean, that is what you did a lot of as in some of the D&D campaigns we played. But I want to murder them, she said frequently.
To be fair, they were infected by a mind flare. I had every right to want to murder them.
That's fair.
There you
Mind
go.
flare,
Walk
yes,
away.
mind flares. For people not familiar with D&D, are basically like a parasitic Cthulhu. So that was a thing. This guy's completely clueless. Get him!
That's it. Bandits will think twice before coming back
Indeed.
here.
Okay.
Wow, Bayek.
Okay. I get it.
Thanks, game.
I don't think I... There's one more piece of treasure in here. But where?
But where indeed?
I don't think it's out here.
Buy it! The spring! You got it back!
Okay.
Thank the gods!
Okay.
Farmers need this desperately. I'm very grateful, Buy it. It's like having our Magi back again.
I'm glad I did.
May I move walk with you, Seren?
Okay. I want to know where the treasure is.
That would be helpful. As an aside, it's also worth noting that as archaeologists, a lot of us in this field have issues with calling something treasure because it tends to carry associations that are like, it's worth a lot of money. And we tend to think of artifacts not just in terms of like, how much is it worth? Because most of the time, we'd better not be selling them on the antiquities market.
That's true.
But in game, I can see why they would call it, treasure. It's just kind of a catch-all.
Well, we're
Term
not an
for-
archaeologist.
No,
by
not
accident.
strictly speaking.
And to be fair, we're looting bandits and Roman soldiers.
Also fair. I mean, hey, one of my favorite side quests in The Witcher is one that's called like "The Dead Have No Defense," and I basically get to go take back something that looters stole from a cemetery, and it was fun.
Actually, this is probably where we'll cut to the interlude. So we'll see you in a minute.
Welcome to Discovery Tour by Assassin's Creed, Ancient Egypt.
Welcome back to another Discovery Tour interlude. So this is the introduction to Alexandria, and we're gonna do more with
Welcome
Alexandria.
to Introduction to Alexandria. After conquering Egypt in 331 BCE, Alexander the Great decided to build a new city, which, as per his habit, he named after himself.
Indeed.
After his death, Alexandria quickly became the capital city of the Ptolemaic kingdom and the most important city of the Greek world.
It was quite important, and it's crucially the capital city of the Ptolemaic kingdom because Alexander ended up having 4 different successors who each had their own I say mini kingdom, but most of them were quite large.
Yeah. It just wasn't like most of the known world.
Yeah.
The city was built between the Mediterranean Sea and Lake Mareotis, which resulted in Alexandria becoming a crucial cultural hub and trading center.
Don't get in my way. I'll assassinate you. I love your horse, sir.
Oh yes, beautiful.
Can I have your Dalmatian horse?
Sumptuous buildings could be seen wherever one turned their gaze. The royal palaces, the many temples, the gymnasium, lush public gardens, and large avenues.
Yeah, I think there's also like a specific tour on the museum that we can talk about when we do that tour.
That'll be fun.
But yeah, Alexandria was a very modern city. And I think a lot of times we don't think of it that way now because people don't tend to think of
The past is being modern.
the past as being modern or of like that part of the world being on the front
Advanced
end.
enough? Yeah.
Yeah,
It really was though.
but it really was, and Alexandria is very much a modern city.
Yeah, and it's worth remembering too that modernity is relative. Like the people living in this time period feel like that's their modern day.
Intellectuals and
Oh
traders.
yeah.
One of the most cosmopolitan cities of the ancient world, Alexandria supplanted even Athens as the most important Greek city in history.
I think it was to a certain cultural extent. Like, this city is most of the reason why we have Hellenism springing across the known world. Because everybody came here. Because
Also true.
and people brought things from all over the world here. And very much like a Chicago or a New York to American audiences today, anyway. London, Rome to our European friends.
Egyptian obelisks were highly prized by Roman architects. While Roman design previously favored the use of a single monument, Egyptian obelisks tended to come in pairs and were generally located at the entrance of temples. Several ancient Egyptian obelisks are still in existence today, though many are spread out
Been to
across
that
the
one in
world
Paris.
locations such as Paris, Rome, New York, and London.
I've been to the one in
All of
Rome.
this shows that Alexandria
And
was
London.
significantly influenced
Same.
by the rich past of Egypt. Alexandria had several main streets. Its most famous artery was the Canopic Way.
I like how they
It was
describe
lined
it as an
with
artery.
sumptuous buildings, houses, and temples, and was roughly 8 kilometers
It's a good
in length.
analogy though.
This street was one of the most important shipping entrances to Alexandria, and often hosted processions and festivals.
Yeah, festivals were very popular in Greece and later in Roman culture. They had so many different
So many. I
festivals.
mean, honestly, you're probably having a festival like every other week. In most, at least in Greece and Rome and
Yeah. I mean, not everyone attended all of them.
no, but a lot of them may have
but-
been, intensely local to be like celebrating the founding of like a, specific cult or something. But
30 meters was
Lots
abnormally
happening.
large even by Greek standards. This is likely because the Canopic Way was made in a short span of time and based on an urban plan, as opposed to being slowly built over
I'm pretty sure,
time,
for that matter,
as
that didn't
was
you also
usual
have
for the
like
era.
monthly, not birthdays necessarily, but like monthly kind of recognition of growing older at some points in the ancient world?
Maybe some. As far as I know, it was kind of a once a year thing for most of the Greek city-states that I'm aware of.
Yeah. And I know that for you'd have various festivals, celebrating the gods every month, but that's also like times 12 every month. So at least 12.
The Canopic Way originated in the western cemeteries, skirted the gymnasium, and then exited the city to head east through massive doorways towards Canopus. This structure was known as the Canopic Door.
Yay! Yeah, so I mean, I think there is a tour on festivals, so we can talk more about it later. But that's the introduction to Alexandria, and we're gonna be in Alexandria for a while, folks. Buckle in. There's like 20 tours in Alexandria. So
That's awesome, though.
it is awesome, but I love talking about Alexandria. I love that I get to run around Alexandria in this game. So but we'll see you on the next interlude, and for now, back to the gameplay. We're back. And we're off. Off to go talk to the blacksmith.
Hooray!
If I can not die getting off this cliff. Go for it, Bayek. You'll probably
Break
survive.
both your legs.
Hey, I rolled. Are you proud of me?
Yes. Lith has the habit of just yeeting herself off cliffs without rolling, and when I was playing this, like, I'd roll, tuck and roll so I wouldn't die, and she's like, nah, it's fine.
I'm more fine doing that late game. Like, right now, I don't think Bayek would survive. So.
No, probably not. I gotta say, too, though, that with the blacksmiths, as they have them in this game and in, like, Odyssey and some other stuff, they actually did a pretty good job giving you an idea of what blacksmithing in this period would have looked like. Blacksmithing and archaeology is a weird intersection, though, because those tools and, like, the anvils were usually so valuable that people didn't just bury them with every particular blacksmith. They were often passed down between generations of people doing that. When we get to the blacksmith here in a minute, if you note the kind of tiny, relatively speaking, at least or modernized, that their anvil that they're using, that is pretty accurate for this time period.
You're back.
I am back.
Blacksmith shop.
Those naked-yarded soldiers. Ptolemy's captain saw me making a sword and
Naked-yarded.
accused me of being a rebel.
He was not wrong.
They confiscated my tools.
Ah, bastards. All of Siwa needs a blacksmith. Even me.
I cannot help you, Bayek. Not until I get my hammer and tongs back. And I have to get that ugly-ass AFAP captain off my ass.
Is this captain with the tools somewhere I can find him?
At the foot of the hills west of here. Camp Shetje.
I will get those tools back, and I will take care of the captain. Then you can
Yeah.
send the tools and in Camp Shetje.
Yeah.
The captain is
Taking
behind
care of the captain.
this. Camp Shetje as well.
That's what we're gonna do.
Ptolemy,
Clearly.
he has brought great sorrow
Yep.
to us all.
It like took the camera away from me just to show me Ptolemy.
There he is.
Off to the camp. Off to the camp. Gotta start a murder bush in the camp.
Indeed. I'm pretty sure we jokingly said that at some point, that it was going to be our goal to start a murder bush everywhere, but it seems like we're going to be doing it anyway. As one does, you know? Are there any signal fire thingies in this fort? So I don't think we have traps for them yet, so
There is a signal fire,
yeah.
but
I don't
like,
think we
I
have
don't
a way
think the like bounty hunters are after us yet. So
No.
I should not be seen in this area.
Sneaky sneak. Sneaky sneak.
who's around.
So this is one other thing you should know about us. We have a tendency to saying random snatches of nonsense as we're doing things in games. That looked like it hurt.
Yeah, I will nervous sing, so, you're just gonna have
That's
to
fine.
deal with that, so.
We also could have called this like Lith and Seren unedited nerdiness, but you know.
Why did you walk over the other person to do that by?
Bayek, why?
Anyone over here?
Oh goodness, excuse me. I'm yawning already, but like I said, it's been a week.
It's fair. Great. Nope, you're climbing down. Oh, they figured out that someone's dead. That's unfortunate.
Both for them and for us. What other archaeological themes could we bring in while we're clearing this camp out?
Eyes open. No Johnson.
Um,
Maybe we can talk a little briefly, maybe more about like what we've done as archaeologists. We've talked about that we've both done some field work and stuff, but a lot of what we do is certainly very research based. So we read a lot of stuff.
we do read
In
a
fact,
lot.
I'm on academia.edu like every other day at this point for finding articles to cite my research and all this other stuff. And if you're working in Europe like I do, then you also tend to have to translate articles from whatever language they were written in into English.
Felipe's
But
tools.
it can be fun sometimes, so archaeology is not all grubbing in the dirt.
I do like the research we have to do. Most of the time it's very interesting reading. So.
No, we were just talking in another video that we're actually releasing as part of the International Archaeology Day this year, which is on October 16th, I think we said, as part of the, you're out of arrows, as part of the, excuse me, Archaeological Institute of America's kind of Archaeology Day celebrations. But we had a video over there too, and we were talking about engaging with the disciplinary past of archaeology, like what we did, in previous eras in this discipline. And that is one very cool, if very biased, rate of research that I think both of us actually quite enjoy. It's kind of seeing like where we've been as a discipline and where we're going. Nice. Headshot.
Yeah. Just had to go get some arrows first.
I figure like that line is very typical of us to be like talking about highfalutin theory 1 second and then be like headshot the next.
Yeah. I saw a guy walk by. Where'd he go? There he is. Don't notice me.
Sneaky, 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 sneaky. So it looks like you can either drop down or attempt to tank this guy from here.
Ah.
Look at these conveniently formed trees.
With a rope.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like they want us to go this way or something.
That's for my friend.
Okay, Bayek. That worked.
That's everything. Benife will be pleased to hear it.
Did you have loot? No. No loot.
Shocking.
You suck. Okay. Um.
There's some absolutely massive storage jars we passed back there too.
Yeah.
Pottery is fun in this field for a number of reasons.
Yeah. So fun fact.
Oh,
my
yes, do tell.
research was originally supposed to be on pottery.
Mhm.
I was studying a collection of Swiss lake ceramics.
Neolithic in date, right?
Yes. Neolithic. And, yeah, that didn't happen.
Bayek, how did
So-
it go?
Because pandemic.
Here
Yeah,
are
it was
the tools.
pandemic related.
Captain won't ever come back here.
At last, I can reopen my shop.
It wasn't anything, like,
My pleasure.
as big
What
or
is
as
hidden from the soldiers?
potentially exciting. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was exciting.
Go ahead, choose one. They're all of equal value.
But, yeah, it just didn't end up happening.
That spear,
Ooh.
sharp and long.
I do
You
like
can
a
keep that
spear
and
in
still
this
hurt your
game.
enemies.
Oh yes. Spears are very
That
versatile
bow uses a
weapons.
special twine. It does not strike deep, but you can shoot very quickly. It is not large, but that
No,
mace can crack
I
stone
don't do
with
maces in
best
this game.
The shield
I have a
made of
better
bronze
shield.
and leather. Good protection.
Right.
So what
It's
about
gonna be
vital?
the spear.
Thank you, my friend.
Come by my shop anytime, Bayek.
Yay.
All right.
Indeed.
What time is it? Let's do something. Let's go get this other sync point.
That
Yeah.
might be a good place to end it, but
Yeah.
let's go grab us other sync point.
We can end it after we grab the sync point. But, on the way there. So, yeah, so the site that I was supposed to study was a site in Switzerland, the Lake Dwellers. And I
Which lake?
actually can't tell you much about them.
Do you remember which lake it was on?
Most of them were on, it starts with an R, I think.
Robenhausen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, most
That's
of
a-
them
it's a
were
pretty-
Robenhausen. Some of them,
Robenhausen is a pretty famous site for that period. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff that's come out of there. We actually have
Yeah.
a friend who did some research on the plant remains and stuff that came out of those sites, including like dried apples and some like long dried out bread making things and all this other cool stuff. So it's a cool
yeah,
site.
she did some really cool stuff with it, and I felt really bad because she gave me all of her books to help me
Did you
out.
get to use them?
Like our advisor told her to give them to me, I think, as part of it. But yeah, and then I didn't get to use any of them.
Alas.
And it was kind of unfortunate because it did look really interesting, but I think I ended up liking what I did more.
Yeah, that's fair.
But not to say that I did really enjoy that stuff. I was hoping to do some experimental stuff, like making my own pottery and stuff like that. But it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Potentially
cool,
for the
though,
best.
Yeah. The
But-
experimental side of that would still be cool though, because remember that firing pottery may have been invented in that period, but the potter's wheel had not been. That doesn't show up until the later Iron Age in Europe. So all the pottery that you would have been looking at would have been made and fired by hand.
Yeah, there was one. So talking about like displaced collections, there was definitely one pot there that you could tell it had the wheel marks on it. So if a pottery was thrown on a wheel, or if a pot was thrown on a wheel, you can see lines in it because of how the wheel turns, and it's much smoother than something done by hand. And there was definitely one that I was like, no human made these marks. This was definitely a wheel thrown ceramic. So, I mean, I did contribute something before,
Yeah.
in terms of like, this doesn't belong in this collection, so.
Definitely postdates the Neolithic
Yeah, it definitely does.
by like at least a couple millennia.
Well, maybe not that far, but definitely for far. Like, it was definitely
again.
from later in time, in a displaced context.
Yeah.
But
Pottery
yeah,
tends
so
to
that's
be
where we're.
very, No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's probably where we're gonna call it. We can
I
talk
gotta
more about
say, I
Swiss
love-
Lake pottery later.
Yes, I gotta say I love the landscape view that we have here. It's just the scene points are always fun.
Oh yeah, it's very gorgeous. I
do
love
a
all
lot
the
of
palm trees.
Yes, I do a lot of photography in my spare time, so landscapes and fun view sheds and viewpoints and cool clouds are definitely my thing. Bird.
I think that's the new. It is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we can say goodbye the best way possible. Bye.
Bye.